And welcome to the No Glove Show. My name is Josh. Let's hop right into it. So, we didn't get the market crash. And even though I think, in my opinion, the Fed report was a little more hawkish than expected, I did kind of browse around to some other analyst reactions. Some people thought it was pretty in line with estimates, and that's maybe why the market reacted so well. I'm more prone to the narrative of the fact that the 4% GDP is really why the market reacted well. If historically a 1%, let's start back. Let's backtrack. The Fed minutes looks like it was pricing in 3 rate hikes. We're currently at a 0.25% interest rate. Looked like we had 3 more, maybe the first one in March, because that's when pullback on the tapering should end. And then they want to hit 1% interest rates in 2022. Historically, still pretty low. And considering that there's inflation going on, a lot of the debt that everyone's carrying is also being lessened in its burden because of inflation. Inflation actually helps if you have a bunch of debt, because it becomes less substantial as the value of it decreases. So, and in a low interest rate environment, it's also cheap to keep. So if inflation is actually bad enough, you actually kind of get paid to keep your debt in a way, if on a bigger macro scale. So, just something to consider. So, if the market believes the Fed, which obviously there's some cognitive bias going on there, because the market did not want to believe the Fed at all when they were transitory with the inflation for probably about past 6 months, and now suddenly market's like, oh, Fed must be right in line and have it down perfectly. Whether that holds up, I doubt it, but we're gonna get this Santa rally coming in, and I mean we haven't seen any headlines about any increased tensions with Russia or China. I kind of did expect those to kind of die down into the end of the year, and those have. We're still getting reports about Omicron. Still don't care. There is still no. Now that we've got more clarification that it's just mild cases across the line, which I just wanted to share this little tidbit too, because I was talking to some people in the Discord and across different social medias, and something to generally keep in mind for just a general rule of biology from someone who majored in it, when the more easily transmittable a virus is, the less lethal it's going to be inherently. And this is just a common, it's generic, but it's a good general conception to keep in your mind. It's like, if the virus is really deadly and it kills you really fast, then it kills the host and then it doesn't spread as well, and then it passes. But if it's super transmittable and going from person to person to person to person to person to person to person, that means that person's probably doing fine and coming in contact with more and more people, which means it's not that lethal. And I know that there's estimates of variations, but there's variations with literally every single disease possible. Everyone has a different reaction to almost everything, whether it's food or medicine, and it's just something to keep in mind. Because I don't know if people quite understood that, because I think there's this fear that there's going to be this really deadly virus that's going to be rampantly spreading, but that would actually be very counter to the natural order of biology and the balance and the creation of these viruses. So, or the balance in their genetic development, I guess. So, just throwing that out there. Back to the economics. I'll probably do another video where I could talk about 2022, things I'm looking forward to in 2022. We're going to do a big video on probably pot stocks and about uranium. So make sure to subscribe. Maybe also like this video. Leave a comment. It helps a ton. Actually, leave a comment, uranium, or leave a comment that says pot. And then that'll decide which one I do first. But for this video, I just want to reiterate kind of the outlook for the end of the year. So there was a lot of money sitting on the sidelines. We had a lot of research in the contenders section of the Discord, which is the monthly subscription, which if you use the coupon code TikTok, get 50% off. Okay, that's the last promotional. But I think that you can't sit on cash right now because inflation's coming up too fast. And we're seeing a lot of money sitting on the sidelines right now. Now, if the market's going to rally into the end of the year, which is kind of look like what it indicated today, it was like, well, Powell said 4% GDP. We thought things were going to be worse because of, a whole platter of reasons. And guess we're going to believe that, and we're going to rally into the end of the year. Now, there is still, of course, always the potential for suddenly Russia's invading Ukraine, or suddenly China's invading Taiwan, or suddenly there is a deadly variant. I doubt that occurs. But bar any of those black swan unpredictable events, it looks like we're going to rally into the end of the year. I think a lot of money will end up chasing, get the last bit of those end of year gains. To what extent, we don't know. I also think it'd be a good time for a lot of hedge funds to start probably buying crypto. The standard was like 1 to 5% and 5% was considered the riskier end for most of these institutions and hedge funds. A lot of them had 1%. So as the crypto went up, they would sell to keep just a 1% allocation, and they take their profits. And they also sold for taxes. So I think that heading into next year, we might see, based on the performance and the outlooks for 2022, when it comes to stocks, we could see more of that money actually switch to cryptos, which I'm really interested in, considering that Bitcoin has been trending so ridiculously tightly with SPY that it's crazy. And if we see a slowdown in 2022 with stocks, I don't see how we don't see a decoupling of Bitcoin from SPY, at which point is probably when we get the next rally. Now, I think the big bullish sign for me will be holding above 50K. Now, we touched above 50K recently, pulled back down, had that denial. I think that denial was actually because of some different hacks that were going on. This is all just white noise. It doesn't really matter in the greater span of things. This is just what happens. Innovation, new technology. People move fast. They miss things. And then they adjust as they go. So I'm not too worried about that. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's a serious consideration that we need to think about what these hedge funds are, how they're going to want to position themselves heading into next year, because it's really, we probably still have the energy trade heading into the beginning of the year, which kind of goes into Ethereum. Pot stocks, some of the worst performers for lots of people. Biotechs coming into next year. Some of them are well below 50%, or well above 50% sold off. CRISPR definitely has my eye, because it's not like those innovations have slowed down at all. So there's a lot to look at and a lot to shift through. Roku ate it today because of some analyst downgrades. Remember, this is still the best or top. If I could put words together, this is still the top streaming platform, and they have a moat that they've had always. They're cheaper, and they offer more for anyone that wants to advertise with them, and for any partners. It's no surprise YouTube went back there. That was huge. That was earlier in November that we got that news. And they have been also talking about the metaverse, which is really cool. Roblox is cheap right now, sold off from its highs. And they're going to start having concerts there regularly. It's there's a lot going on, and it looks like we're set up for the Santa rally. I would play this week over week. Kind of be cautious heading into next year. I'm going to do a few more videos with some updates, but that's my reaction to the Fed meeting. It's kind of where my mind's at right now. Feeling pretty bullish. I see no reason, if we didn't react poorly to that, there's not really much anything else that's major heading into the end of the year. I did not do these videos so late. Holy fog behind. So I think we're full send. We'll go ahead strong to the end of the year. Keep an eye out for 2022, and keep an eye out for some future videos. Please like and subscribe. And see you in the Discord.